Thank everyone for joining us today. The purpose of today's session is to review some homeowner insights based on a survey that Finance It recently completed in partnership with Angus Reid. The data reviewed in today's session is meant to provide you with an understanding of where your guys' customers are at financially and how their decisions are being affected in today's economic climate. It's no secret that we're in a bit of an uncertain time right now. So I think that the data review today will show you guys some different insights, and some of it might be a little shocking. So just a quick disclaimer before we get started here. So Finance It Canada webinars are for informational purposes only and are prepared by Finance It. Reliance upon information in this material is at the sole discretion of the viewer. Promotional programs as well as loan terms and interest rates are subject to change without notice. And please refer to applicable terms and conditions for detailed information and speak to your sales representative for more details. Had to get that one out of the way there. Perfect. So I'll get started here introducing myself. My name is Michelle Warren. I'm a regional sales manager from British Columbia, working with Western Canadian accounts. What's up, Amar?
No, you're good. You're good. Keep going.
Oh, perfect. I'm responsible for a portfolio of roughly 150 accounts, and I've been with Finance It here for almost 3 years. And joining me today, we have Amar.
Thanks, Michelle. My name is Amar Samra. I am the VP of Marketing, and I also, under my purview, I own our partnership channel across several OEM network associations in Canada. I'm based here in Toronto, Canada. I've been with Finance It for 6.5 years. See a lot of familiar names, so I'm excited to talk through some of these key data findings for the group.
Awesome. So today's agenda is pretty brief. We have about 45 minutes budgeted here for the session today. So first, we're going to outline some key areas. Starting with an overview of our survey, where Amar and I are going to delve into some of the data and insights that we've gathered as part of this survey. From there, we're going to highlight some of the key findings, drawing attention to some of the more significant takeaways and really how they impact your guys' business. Following that, we're going to take a look at the current Finance It promotions and how to best leverage them to be able to grow your sales. And then after that, we are going to wrap up with a quick Q&A session and do our gift card giveaway. Now, we encourage everybody to stay engaged and participate actively throughout the session. The data shown today is meant to provoke an open discussion amongst everybody here. So if you have any questions or comments, please do use the raise hand button or the chat box within Zoom. We do have somebody monitoring it, so your question will be answered. And we will just ask everybody to stay on mute for today's session as well. And then just a friendly reminder here, we do have a gift card giveaway at the end of the session, but you do need to be here to claim the prize, so please stick around.
All right. So just a little bit of background on this. Finance It, we've been in market for 10 plus years now. And, now we've actually worked with 600,000 Canadians borrowing from our lending product here. So we have a big database, and we really pride ourselves on being a data forward company. And we do all sorts of data reviews with our dealers, with our homeowners, to really get an understanding of the temperature in the market. But we found that there was a gap. There's a significant gap when it comes to home services, home improvement data. Not a lot of research companies are putting out a lot of data in market. And the data that we have it's our existing customers. So we wanted to put out a non-biased study to really look at how are Canadians really feeling about renovations, about real estate, about where they want to improve their home. And so what we decided to do was we decided to partner with one of the biggest data companies, Angus Reid. And so we worked with Angus Reid, and we put out a survey just about 4 or 5 weeks ago with 1,500 Canadians. So we went, it was an online-based survey that Angus Reid facilitated for us, across the board, every province, English, French. So we had a really good sort of sample size here. There is a slight margin of error with any survey, around 2%-ish, but we were really excited to really share these data points with the market of how consumers are really thinking about their home. And this is something that we really want to do consistently. This is the second time we put out a survey like this, but our goal moving forward is uh, to do these sort of projects twice a year and have like a mid-year sort of update and a top of year update. We really want to be able to put out in market a trusted data point to help home improvement dealers and contractors kind of navigate specifically this macroeconomic environment. So if we go to the next slide, we were quite excited. We did put out a press release a little while ago, and this specific home improvement report was featured across many media outlets, Financial Post, HGTV, Toronto Sun, Yahoo, Finance, tons of different outlets. So for us, we want to be able to work with our media partners, and we want to be able to position ourselves as a subject matter expert in this field, right? So we're really excited about some of the coverage we got, and we're continuing to build momentum here. So we will send this after so you can see the press release and some of the materials we put out, including this presentation. All right, let's get into the data. So Michelle, I think you're up first. You're on mute, Michelle.
There we go. So we're going to jump into some of the different takeaways that we saw from the survey that we conducted with Canadian homeowners. And one of the data points we wanted to explore was, what is the biggest financial struggle that Canadians are facing right now? And just from looking at this graph, the data is pretty shocking, right? We're getting to a point now where we're starting to see everyday expenditures like groceries and gas fueling the financial stress of most Canadians. And following that, 20% of respondents said that unexpected expenditures are contributing to their financial stress. Things like, a car breaking down, HVAC repairs, roofing and window, a lot of the things that our merchant base provides a solution for.
Yeah. And so, sorry, I'll just add, this is super interesting. I know, like, when you look at this, inflation has started to settle down across the board, but like when you're looking at pricing now versus 2-3 years ago, you're talking about 25-30% increases in average pricing. And it is really interesting to see groceries, gas, kind of those everyday expenditures have like be top of mind for the average Canadian. And I think the positive here is like home improvement was one of the lower items, hasn't been as much of a burden versus some of the other categories, such as your mortgage or such as unexpected expenses across the board. So it's like, I think the average homeowner here is like obviously facing a significant financial struggle when it comes to disposable income, and that bucket keeps shrinking smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of, the ability to, it's essentially about affordability in the market, right? So less disposable income makes affordability a really significant concern.
Definitely. And the next part that we wanted to kind of ask respondents about is, how has the increased cost of living changed your plans to purchase a new home in the new year? And this is the statistic that really got kind of picked up across a lot of our media outlets, because it's showing that 94% of homeowners are planning to stay in their current homes. They're not looking to make a move during uncertain times. And of that 94%, 25% have said that they are looking to do some sort of upgrade to their home. They want to do a renovation. They want to make it more functional for them and their families. They want to make the space better for themselves. And so this really presents us with a valuable opportunity, because, especially when it comes to financing, by offering that monthly payment, you can really help homeowners manage their budgets while getting the upgrades that they desire to make their current home their dream home, rather than having to purchase a new one. And this not only makes home improvement more accessible, but it also aligns with the reality that a lot of Canadians live in, which is monthly payments, right? We're all used to having a mortgage, a telephone bill, Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. And it is worth noting here too that those aged 35 to 54 are more cautious to move during tight financial times, which makes up a huge part of our market.
Yeah, it's a really good point. That 94% of Canadian homeowners planning to stay. That was essentially the headline across all that the media took that one by storm, because that was the highest sort of data point that we've seen in a little while in terms of that sentiment of, hey, like, cost of living is expensive. Transacting on a new home is quite expensive. Let me just stay put. I think this is a good metric for the industry where people are saying, I'm going to stay where I'm at, and I'm going to think about how can I upgrade that space versus creating a brand new space overall, right? So I think it's good for us that that demand for home improvement services is still feels quite high.
Yeah, well, and if we take a look at the past 4 years of Canadian real estate too, it's no surprise that things kind of went crazy when interest rates were quite low. So this is really telling kind of the market, hey, interest rates are high. This is not the kind of move that I want to make right now. I'm going to stay put with my family. And then here, where we took a look at how has the increased cost of living changed your plans to renovate your current home within the next year. And we've really witnessed a significant shift in the way that Canadians are approaching home renovations. So when we looked at this, we found that 37% of Canadians have said that they have been impacted, or their plans to renovate have been impacted um, by rising prices. And really this comes down to, hey, how much is it going to cost me to renovate my house, right? A lot of my merchants have told me about the different pricing increases they've gotten from their suppliers over the past 4 years. And things are just continually going up and up and up. And I think there's a lot of sticker shock amongst the consumer base because, things aren't as cheap as they once were. And so, an HVAC system, 5 years ago is not what it costs today. And we don't know how much that is going to change, moving forward, right? So the nice part about, being able to kind of offer that monthly payment too is it allows that consumer to really stretch their budget. They might have come to you to do a home renovation with a budget in mind. Financing can also supplement that as well.
Yeah, and it's just I think kind of the key thing there for me is like the stagnation. Like particularly in the Toronto market, you're seeing people say, "Hey, like a lot of uncertainty. Maybe I'm going to delay this project. I wanted to get my backyard done this year. I wanted to upgrade my kitchen, my bathroom, get a new hot tub in, but maybe I'm going to decide next year." And that's if you look at this stat, that's the biggest portion in that sentiment. But I think this is where I think finance can really help, right? Is to make that comfort sale and create that affordable payment. We really want that consumer to transact now and not delay, right? So this was a really interesting data point that kind of co-signed some of the sentiment that we had, well, kind of how we thought about the market, but it was really interesting to see that 37% being impacted.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, one of the most common pieces of feedback I get from my merchant base is, hey, we were starting with, one bathroom. But in the way that finance it does our pre-approvals, we approve, up to a credit limit. And sometimes that credit limit is a lot higher than that original budget that consumer had intended on. And so it really allows them to kind of stretch that project, get everything done, at once. No need to renovate the house twice, in a couple of years span. So that's been a really big selling feature for a lot of consumers to say, hey, I was only thinking of doing the one bathroom. Now I can do both, or I can add on the kitchen, or I can add on the basement. And then here this one was really, really interesting to me, especially because we did a survey a couple years ago, asking a lot of the same types of information that we asked in our recent survey in 2024. And just the sentiment around the openness to a monthly payment has really, really increased. And we've seen a 26% uptake in Canadians being open to a monthly payment when it comes to a home renovation. 12% in 2022 versus 38% of homeowners are likely to use a monthly payment for a home renovation. And so this really just speaks to, kind of, again, going back to what people are comfortable with nowadays and how we operate our lives and how we manage our expenditures. And people are comfortable with monthly payments and making, budgeting their lives in a monthly payment.
Yeah. And like I think that is just such a huge jump. I mean, this is like an interesting question because the average homeowner is not really thinking about monthly payment. And that's not top of mind. I'm trying to transact and get a new windows and doors, or get a new roof, or upgrade my HVAC system, or add a pool or hot tub. So it's just like that openness towards, hey, like I really budget on a monthly basis. My mortgage is done on a monthly basis. All my bills. What can I afford? What's that monthly payment? And we also see a similar stat in our internal surveys where the average borrower consumer is basically saying, I just need to find that monthly payment that fits in my budget. And that's essentially the comfort sale, right? That's going to make me feel much more likely to move forward with that dealer. So that was a really interesting data point to get up to almost 40% of the population having that openness.
Definitely. And Amar, over to you.
Yeah, so I think this was no surprise, right? Where we asked like, what was the most important factor to you when you're doing a home renovation project, right? And I think what we're feeling and seeing is that there's less sort of a sentiment towards, all right, let me get the highest, most luxury product item, and let me really just focus on function and a practical upgrade. Like if I'm going to be in my home longer, as we saw in the previous data points, I'm going to planning to stay in my current home for the next 5 years or 10 years. Let me make this a multi-purpose space, right? Let me turn an office to an office bedroom, or let me make an investment in landscaping in my backyard. So that's just a bit of a more comfortable space to enjoy and entertain, right? So there was less of a sentiment around some of the other categories here, which was like, okay, like if I focused on a super positive ROI of my home in terms of the value of my home, that was a less of a sentiment than, hey, let me just focus on function and maximizing the space I have. Like I might not be able to upgrade my space because I want to stay in my current home. So let me just focus on the practicality of that renovation. So, and then I think we also asked, like what's top of mind for you? Like what category in the home improvement space was most important to you, or what you're thinking about? And again, I think no surprises. I think this sort of view is similar to what other studies in the market have put out on a North American level, where most people are kind of keen on the remodeling aspects, kitchen, bathroom, basement, like things where that is aesthetically pleasing. I think kitchen is usually the number one part of the home where the average homeowner wants to make an investment in. So followed by landscaping, decks, windows, doors, roofing, HVAC, solar, pool, and spa. We are seeing some of the luxury items in the market starting to take a little bit of a dip. I was speaking to a manufacturer on the spa side, and they were sharing quarterly unit data that I think was down like 15 to 20% in terms of units last quarter on a Canadian basis across the board. So we are seeing the average homeowner really think about, their kitchens, landscapes, windows, doors is top of mind, functional spaces, right? Areas where that they want to be multi-purpose as well. So then we can get a little bit deeper in. When we looked at some of the trends across the board, there were a couple of notable items here on a provincial level. Like we did see out east on the Atlantic side had the highest portion of HVAC, significantly higher than the national average, which was interesting to see. Similarly, on the pools and spa side, Quebec was at the highest portion across the country. That also aligns with Finance's internal data. So that was interesting to see. Out west in BC, you're seeing windows and doors be a higher portion than landscaping. So it actually peaked up to number 2, as well as in Quebec, windows and doors peaked to number 2, outpacing landscaping. So that was super interesting. But remodeling across every single province was still number 1 consistently when it comes to kitchen, bathrooms, basement. So I think no surprises there overall, but interesting to see kind of how the provinces compared when it comes to some of these categories. And then here, yeah, this was another piece that, obviously with the overall trend of electrifying the home, we wanted to get a data point on energy efficiency. And this was really interesting to see that 62% of Canadians said that this is top of mind for them in terms of investing in an energy efficient solution. I mean, I know obviously the government bodies are going to love this stat. This got picked up across a lot of environmental publications as well. So this was really, I think, was a bit of a surprise for us to see it that high at 62%. And it kind of tells you that the average homeowner is thinking about this, right? Like, if you're an HVAC dealer and, you're selling a 13-SEER product, we do see a sentiment across the board that maybe like a higher efficiency unit where that consumer can save a little bit more on their energy bill is top of mind. So it might be a helpful stat when positioning some of the upgraded products, even for windows and doors, some of the higher efficiency products, right, to reduce some of the energy bills. And also, of course, it's extremely helpful for the environment, right, to become a zero carbon emissions, home essentially, right? So that was an interesting stat to see in terms of a green friendly sort of sentiment across the average consumer in Canada. So I think, yeah, to wrap up, the key takeaways, and of course we'll share this deck out, was that homeowners are staying put. It's over 90% of homeowners are saying, hey, like I'm going to stay in my current home. I may have been considering upgrading and upgrading my space, but I'm going to stay here. And there's a higher portion of the average homeowner saying, I'm going to just renovate my current space, right? Which I think again is great for our industry, that there's going to be continued demand when it comes to home services across the board, right? So 25% are saying that they're likely within, this is within this, the question was specifically about what's in the next year, right? So it's a demand sort of statistic that we're anticipating going into 2025. Quarter said that they are going to upgrade in the next year. Practicality is key. Practicality was the biggest portion of that poll when it comes to upgrading your home. 21% said it was because of increasing the value of the home, but 53 said it was a multi sort of purpose space that they want to upgrade practically. Energy efficiency. Two-thirds of the group said that energy efficiency had a high sort of connotation, and it was important to them that they are upgrading their home in an efficient way that saves on their energy bill. Cautious movers, I think we had a particular call out between the group of 35 to 54 that they were the most cautious in terms of moving, right? Particularly with the market headwinds that we have and the uncertainty in the economy right now. And then remodeling was the top category across the board: kitchen, bathrooms, basements, right? Followed by landscaping and then windows and doors. Those are kind of the key highlights. We have some more materials on this that we can share out with the group. We have a dedicated website, but I encourage you to read our press release, some of the media stuff that came out. But these are some of the key insights across the board that we wanted to share with the dealer community.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to, remodeling your home or doing a major upgrade to your home, monthly payments aren't always, that's not how you think of how this is how I'm going to pay for it. You think of that with your car and your mortgage, that kind of thing. But I think the industry is really starting to see a bit of a shift in the openness to financing, especially with that stat that we saw earlier on the change between 2022 and 2024. It is becoming more common, and it's more practical for a lot of people as well, to be able to manage their monthly budgets. So next here, we're going to go into some of Finance's current promotions. This might not be new news for everybody, for those who are already using the promotions and are comfortable with them. But Ramar is going to take us through what we've got going on right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to just wrap with just a few minutes, just as a reminder for all of our amazing promos that we have in market. We have some really aggressive offers that I really encourage, if you haven't taken a look at it, I really encourage you to talk to your account manager. We have two programs that are really, really strong. We have a 0% for 6 months APR program, which essentially means to your customers, no interest till 2025 at this point, right? And that has a super aggressive price of 3%, which is down from 7.5% that we have in market right now. So that program is really taking storm. Like, we've seen a high level of adoption on the 0% APR program. It's a great marketing tactic right now as well, right? It gets customers to call in because nobody wants to pay high APRs right now, right? I'll tell you from Finance's standpoint, we're seeing more customers that have high APRs pay off those loans faster in the last little bit, right? So having no interest, there's basically no risk to transact, right? Especially with the data that we were sharing earlier, where people are delaying projects. Well, if you're gonna have a 0% APR, that's a perfect time to just transact now, right? And then have a low monthly payment there. That's $42 on a 10K loan. And the other program that I really like right now is that 999 36-month program, which, right now our standard APRs are 14%. So you're dropping your APR by 4% on a lower term, a 3-year term. So that's a comfort sale right there where you can lock in on the sub 10% interest rate. We're seeing a lot of homeowners feel like, yeah, that sub 10 is really competitive. It's fairly in line with a line of credit, a little bit more than a mortgage, right? But we have a really low dealer fee on that at 3%. The first two programs are the same price as a credit card transaction. So highly encourage, if you haven't considered some of these options, to talk to your account manager. There's a bit of urgency around it because some of these programs are expiring soon. So I really highly encourage you talk to your account manager about them. And then we also have a 3-month deferral product and 6-month deferral product that we've kind of always had in market that are also available. Beyond some of the promotional offerings, we are also excited, just on the next slide, Michelle. If you haven't heard, we have put together another spiff, another incentive for your sales organizations, where we're happy to provide a gift card for appropriate sales within the month of August and September. So for dealers that do less than $1 million with us annually, there's a $25 gift card available to them. And for dealers that do more than $1 million, there's a $50 gift card available to them. So all they need to do is do a minimum of 2 loans in the month, and Finance It will send you a virtual gift card at the end of the month, thanking you for your business, rewarding your sales reps. We want to make sure your sales teams are motivated, and we want to do everything we can to have for you to have a strong summer, and close and install as much projects as possible. So this is part of our dealer program that we've called Level Up, that we've released a little while ago, to give dealers across the country incentives to finance more deals, right? So we're excited about that. We're happy to provide that for the dealer community. So I think that's all we had in terms of content. Do we have any questions that we can address?
Yeah, feel free to either come off mute or do the raise hand function, or we have the chat box open as well.
I don't think we have any questions today, Michelle. I think we can kind of end on a high note with our.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
You mentioned that the current promotions that will end, right? So how about the coming promotions? Did you mention, or I just missed it?
Yeah, we can go back to the slide. So we do have some promos that we have expiring this month. And then we have a couple more promos that are expiring at the end of the year. Michelle, do you want to just go back to that chart? Yeah, so we have those two promos are expiring. The 0% APR for 6 months and the 999 buy down are for this month. And then September, October, November, December, we'll have those 2 3-month and 6-month deferral offers available to you that will expire for the rest of the year. So that's kind of our current plan. Stay tuned. We may be announcing more offers in September, October, but that's what we have currently planned.
Okay.
Yeah, and for those 2 deferral products, I mean, by the time we get to Q4 in September, really using either one of those, you can advertise to your client base, hey, no payments, no interest until 2025. It's a great incentive, especially around the holidays where, of course, budgets are tightened and whatnot, but people still need to get their home improvement projects done. So those are both great programs to use. Any other questions?
No, I think Jared says you can share it with the team. No question for them. Erica said no questions. Sylvia loves the 0% APR program. And a couple of thank yous.
Perfect. Well, we will move on to our gift card giveaway here. I have Attila on the call here who's going to announce the winner.
We're on. All right, Michelle, I'm going to share the screen. Everyone, let's do this. Let's see who's the winner. John Barry. We just want to make sure that John Barry is on the call, otherwise we'll do another one. So we'll remove and do another call. Let's see. Diane? No.
We have you, Diane?
You have
No?
to be on the call during the prize.
We're gonna keep going until we get a winner here.
We'll keep going until we find a winner. Don't leave the call so we can have
The call.
Jared.
Okay, I think Jared is on,
Yeah.
right?
Jared's on? Awesome, Jared.
Good,
We'll see you.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
And Attila will be emailing out that gift card to Jared then.
Be emailing the gift card and he should be receiving on his email.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us here today. If you guys have any questions, please get in contact with your account manager. We want to speak with you. We want to work with you. We want to strategize with you. We appreciate everyone's time and looking forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.